Hey everybody, it's your pal Mike Zombie, and this week we're going to talk about Undead from 2003, an Australian zombie film that's got a 5.5-star rating on IMDb. I think that's pretty fair. The quick synopsis is a quaint Australian fishing village named Berkeley, by the way, which I thought was funny because I was born the town over from Berkeley, California. I was born in Oakland, California, so Berkeley was right next door. A quaint Australian fishing village is overcome by meteorites that turn its residents into the ravenous undead, leaving a small group of those unharmed to find a way out. That's semi-honest. That's a pretty good little brief synopsis that leaves out a lot of great big surprises. This is, as I thought, an interesting take on a zombie film. And it went along the zombie path, and suddenly, in the last third of the film, just fucking exploded and got way more interesting than it was. And it wasn't a bad film to start with. Now, Felicity Mason plays Renee Chaplin, and she is a local beauty queen, like the Fisher Queen for like the week or something. The local beauty queen. And she's leaving the city because the bank, as we start off, she's sitting at the bank and she's getting the news from a complete jackass. And he was such a jackass, I loved him, that... his name was Chip Chipperson. He had a first name I won't forget. They showed his name tag twice. Chip Chipperson, which, if you listen to the Opie and Anthony show, you do hear the comedian Jim Norton pretend he's a character called Chip Chipperson. So I don't know if this is where he got it from, but it was really funny when I saw the name tag. She's sitting there in a bank with him, and he's telling her that she's about to lose the farm that she got from her parents. Apparently, the family farm was passed down from grandparent to parent, and it went to her, and she inherited all of her parents' bills along with the farm and couldn't pay them, so was losing everything. So she's leaving town, kind of going out on a rail. She really has nothing left there. And as her and her agent are leaving town, suddenly, meteorites, we see from far off, a large meteorite is just flying through space, and it partially explodes, and a portion of it fragments off and is headed right for the Earth. And a whole bunch of meteorites rocket down into the sky, and they're apparently pretty large because they don't fully burn up on impact, and they're landing in this town all around. It looks like a good-sized town. It's hitting the ground. We see it hit a few people, and the people that get hit stand right the fuck up as zombies. So I'm like, yes, all right, we have the cause. We know what brings this on. And everybody they bite immediately becomes zombies. Now, this is a tricky zombie film because they do trick us. She's running down the road, and she gets saved by Piri Weepu. I'm kidding. Now, Piri Weepu is a New Zealand All Black that I love. He's a fucking machine when he plays rugby. And Mungo McKay looks a lot like Piri Weepu. So I was like, oh my God, Piri's in this? So I had to go look. No. It's Mungo McKay. And I'm assuming he's probably, I don't know what his deal is, but he's a pretty big guy. And he looks like some redneck from hell. He's got the overalls on, he's got the big hat, he's got a great big beard, and he's walking around with a triple-layer shotgun, which is pretty awesome. It reminds me of, it's one more than the double with the beveled edges that was used in Phantasm 3, I think it was. 3 or 4, I forget, to be honest. And he's shooting shit down, and he walks away. He goes back into the woods, and Renee is just running, and she inadvertently runs up to a farm, finds a key, opens the door, it goes in. It's his house. And he comes back and finds her there in the house eating the porridge. And wait, no, that was another story. Doesn't matter. A bunch of other people come racing in, and we have suddenly a very small group of people in this house that is suddenly being overrun by zombies. Now, these zombies look great. They really do. The effects were really nice on them. They're moving very much like the undead from Evil Dead 2, and maybe not so much Army of Darkness. I think Army kind of backed away from the radical head shaking that I recall. It's been many years since I've seen it. And I immediately thought of that, and I was kind of bummed out. I didn't like to see that. And they end up getting shoved down into the basement. They fight their way out, and they're just trying to run. This film takes place entirely in this very small town, and I'm just going to jump through because I have some funny news for the end of this. And they go racing out in a van, and they're killing zombies, and these fuckers keep getting up, and they realize shoot them in the head, and they don't come back. It's introduced that this is not just space phenomena. that this is, in fact, being caused by aliens. All we saw were meteorites, but it becomes really clear that something else is going on because people will be walking out in the rain and suddenly clouds. Do you remember like in Close Encounters where Roy Neri is hanging out near the Devil's Tower and you see the clouds almost pouring in and rolling around the mountain? This is the same. Well, it's the same result. I'm sure it's not the same effect. They did that in a great big fish tank pouring, I think it was like Kool-Aid or something in, which was really amazing for Spielberg's what he did back then. But it kind of looked the same. And this would be localized above the person in the rain. And when they got wet by this special rain, a beam would freeze them and suck them up into some kind of mothership. We believe. We don't really see what happens. So suddenly we realize, fuck, this is aliens. So maybe the meteorites were just the method to get these things to us. Who knows? So we've got 4 or 5 people left. I'm trying to think how many. We got the cop, the constable, his assistant, the flight guy, his pregnant wife, Piriweepu Man, and Renee. Okay, we have 6. Thanks for counting with me. And they're just running their asses off in his van. Now, Marion, who's the guy I keep calling Piriweepu, he's got amazing weapon skills. He's got guns in his front pockets, his rear pockets. He's got some rigged to his arms, like a fucking taxi driver where you pull him out. He's just got guns every fucking place. And he's an amazing shot. Some of it was kind of silly, and that's okay. Because I will let a lot of shit go for an international film. It doesn't bother me a bit. And it got really bloody and really gory. And I felt that they were trying to steal a little bit of the thunder from Dead Alive or Brain Dead or whichever version of that film you've seen where he's running around. I'm sorry, Nigel, to the star from the other movie, where Nigel's running around his house with a lawnmower just hacking up zombies like a motherfucker. If you've not seen Dead Alive or Brain Dead, see it. You need to see the unrated version. Don't bother with the rated R version because the gore is cut in half. And that was directed by a nobody named Peter Jackson. That's the film Peter Jackson doesn't talk about. And when he's busy doing Lord of the Rings, he will not tell you that he directed Meet the Feebles and Dead Alive. And it was just brilliant, brilliant, brilliant gore. So they kind of stole the thunder from that as far as just the blood everywhere, which of course I don't mind. And it's revealed, and I'll let this much go because I thought it was a great twist, and this movie is 11 years old. If you haven't seen it by now, you really should. They reveal that as we suddenly see a zombie kind of face distort and become normal again and go, where the fuck am I? That these aren't the zombies that we thought. Now, while they act like zombies, they bobble around, they're having trouble walking, they're very uncoordinated, and they bite people and eat people and grab their brains and flesh and tear it apart and eat it. They also can suddenly turn back into normal people. Now, the aliens have a way to make us zombies nearly instantly and can revoke that nearly instantly, and people come back exactly as they were. They're like, where the fuck am I? So it's simply a tool they use, though it reacts in our world like a zombie, but for whatever reason, it's almost like a weird form of stasis they use. Now, as we find out, when the guy with the airplane goes up trying to get over a great wall, because a great wall has been built around this city, a great wall of thorns and electricity. And we have no fucking idea what this is, but it's penned in just this tiny group of people. And one guy's trying to get over the wall with his fucking plane, and as he gets up in the sky, he realizes all the inhabitants of this town are floating in the sky. And their arms are out, they're looking up almost as if they've been crucified, but they're just floating. And they look perfectly normal. They are in a different form of stasis. So it's not quite the zombie movie that we thought it to be. Zombies were a part of it. They were just maybe a function, part of the mechanism, part of the herding. I don't exactly know what it was. But when that kicked up in the last third of the film, I'm like, whoa, what a fucking great way to do this. And turns out, just outside the wall, just outside the zombie madness, are thousands of people who are completely unaffected by this, think this is the most amazing thing they've ever seen, and they're clamoring trying to get in because I want to hang out with the aliens, woohoo! Not realizing 50 feet away on the other side of this wall that's so high that you can't hear anything on the other side. People are being shredded. And I thought the irony of that was really great. I really, really appreciated that. And in the end, the beautiful Renee Chaplin, who was Felicity Mason, takes her crown as the beauty queen, Miss Fisherman, whatever it was, and takes stewardship over the town and tries to keep the people that have been returned and are now becoming zombies again. She tries to keep the survivors safe. I didn't do this film justice. I liked this. I have to watch 2 zombie films today. This was for my weekly review, and holy shit, I'm doing it on a Tuesday morning. Tuesdays are my days off. And I'm also going to watch the one we're doing for tomorrow's Zombie Mob, the one that was filmed at the filmed at CERN. So I'm going to watch that tonight. I figured, fuck it, I'll just get all my business done in one day. This film was pretty darn good. I enjoyed it. I especially love. For some reason, I thought it was the one with the sheep. You guys know what I'm talking about? There's a zombie film from New Zealand that involved, I think it was zombie sheep or black sheep. Was it black sheep? Fuck. Did I watch that? I watched part of it. I'm not sure if I reviewed it. I'm going to have to double check. I thought it was that at first. I'm like, no. Totally different film. Totally different film. This, on the Bradinsky scale of buy it, borrow it, or don't bother, and now I'm bringing up the fourth option that McPherson and I were discussing yesterday on the drive home for Zombie Babies. This film is definitely a borrow. I enjoyed it. So... And if it pops up on Xbox Live, I'll even buy it. I thought it was kind of a cool twist. I'm not much for Evil Dead, shivering, moving awkwardly zombies, but when I realized that wasn't what the deal was, it really made this a very interesting film to watch. And I think 5.5 stars it was directed by James Gunn. I didn't know that. I'm sorry, I'm looking at IMDb now, folks. I would like to talk about the lengths that a man will go to enjoy a zombie film. 2 days ago, went up to the Finley household, Buckingham West, which of course is the home of Will Finley, who, as I'm finding out by looking online, is an actor, a gentleman, a scholar, and a master of all things he puts his sights upon. And Katie Bowles Finley, who is the owner of ZombieBakeShop.com. Went up to their house to watch some zombie films, and we're going to be doing that again in a few weeks. I told him, I said, you know what, I'm going to bring you a copy. He wanted to see Zombie Babies because I told him it was the worst zombie film I think I'd ever seen. I said, I'll get you a copy of that. I had that digitally, and a couple other films that I wanted him to see, and an HD version of the film that I made briefly with the baseball bat one. Anyway, so I put it on... I put it on a flash drive in a format that pretty much, if you could put an abacus onto a flash drive, that's how this had to be processed. I took it to him, and I watched. Well, first off, I'm sitting there. Let me set the scene. I'm sitting on the couch, and suddenly there's a rumbling, and I'm like, what's going on? And then the door smashes open. Oh, my God, it's Will Finley. He's wearing camouflage. He's back. He's back. All right. And we're all proud. And he suddenly has 2 kids, one of which is Puerto Rican. We're all going to wonder. We're not going to say. We're all going to wonder. And he has to bring in one arm. He brought 2 computers into this room. No, one. And moved another one around. He tried on the Xbox to get it to read. Wouldn't work. Tried on the PS3. Wouldn't work. Tried on one computer. And it kind of worked, but having to feed it live off USB, it couldn't feed fast enough to make the video HD because it wasn't it was like fucking 5 gigs in size. And I watched as he ran back and forth, trying just to somehow salvage the shit I had brought him. And we ended up watching Day of the Dead, 1985, which, as I learned, was the first zombie film he ever saw, which I thought was really, really cool. I wasn't aware of that when I brought it. I thought, hey, this will be just in case my flash drive eats itself. And, yeah, we had a good time watching. Who doesn't like watching Bub? And we discussed it with Katie. Katie, who, of course, is always thrilled when she sees zombies fire guns, talk on the phone, break dance. And, anytime you can see a zombie in a hang glider, Katie is a happy gal watching it with binoculars. She just loves that kind of shit. She doesn't. She hates it. And I can actually agree with her on that. I don't like to see zombies doing. I don't mind brain function that emulates the same thing a chimp would do. Like a chimp will pick up a piece of wood and try to hit you with it. I'm fine with that. But anytime zombie is actually playing Jenga, I'm fucking furious. So I can agree. We had a very good time. I had some great pizza. Look forward to going back in a couple weeks with Alicia Seaton, Katie, and Will, and we'll continue watching some of the best zombie stuff ever made with Dawn of the Dead, 1978. Will, thank the flying spaghetti monster that you made it back safe. We were worried. We were so worried. So that's an inside joke for like me and Will, and the rest of you can fuck off. You don't get to appreciate the joke. It's my joke. So anyway, that's all I got for this week. I'm actually in my office goofing off right now. I'm going to edit this probably tonight. I'm going to watch the other movie tonight, and you're going to get a kick-ass Zombie Mob. And funny, I think the Zombie Mob might air. Yeah, the Zombie Mob is going to air before this will. So the Zombie Mob you heard a couple days ago, that's what I'm talking about Tuesday beforehand. Holy shit. I think I slipped into a wormhole. Anyway, you guys have a great week. And, fuck it, since I'm just wasting a shitload of time. Do me a favor, and I don't know if Daryl's going to mention this too. Email us. Go to alittledead.com, click on the links, email us. You can call on the hotline. Tell us what your favorite horror film is. Was it Psycho? Was it Poltergeist? Whatever. That's kind of horror sci-fi, but whatever. Whatever your favorite horror film was, call us and let us know. And also add your favorite zombie film, because we're going to try to set up something special and review on a very special episode. I think this is episode 191 we're at. There's a very monumentous milestone episode coming up here and a handful of weeks. And we'd like to review something you guys want to see us do the most. So please call us, email us. I don't give a shit how you send it, carrier pigeon. You can send it shortwave, whatever fine. Your favorite horror film, your favorite zombie film. Hopefully it's something we have not yet done, and we will be happy to do so. And I'm sure Daryl's going to have some announcement about that. But I'm jumping on it right now. Please do that. Have a great